So from banking, you moved to IT.
Correct.
So you do not have an IT background.
No, I'm not. So I introduced myself as a non-tech savvy in IT from last 20 years. So at least technique, it's not about you are doing the coding every time, but can you understand the algorithms? Can you understand the logic? What exactly the client wants? So
now, when you work for a fintech company at a AVP role, what is your main responsibility looks like?
I am predominantly taking care of partnership alliances.
How does this field of fintech that you see in the next 5 to 10 years in India, what is the growth?
It's going to get exploded, as I said, right? It's going to enter into insurance. It is already exploded, but the integration between various financial services, right? So it has already integrated, but
to the fintech area, so what are the biggest challenges that you see that the industry is facing?
Domain, as I said, right? Okay. Domain is
people do not have domain knowledge.
Yeah, people do not have that kind of a domain knowledge. Another is those kind of technical capabilities are also missing.
Now, what certification you can do to enter into the fintech area, or can they do internships? Is there an opportunity for that?
Yeah, see, fintech you can start anywhere, but to start with, of course, if you're an engineer, get domain knowledge.
Somebody wants to make a career into this, okay, especially say a non-tech guy wants to enter into fintech. One advice that you want to give it. Hello guys, I hope everybody is doing good. Hi, this is Ganesh Nayak. I help finance professionals and students to excel in their career and become a better version of themselves. And I also help students preparing for competitive exams like CFA, FRM and SCR. And as a part of that preparation journey, I also connect with industry professionals trying to understand what new opportunities, new roles are there for audience in the market. So as a part of that discussion, I'm with Avinash, and he's going to be talking about his interesting journey and the beautiful world of fintech. Okay, so Avinash, thank you very much for taking out time.
Thanks, Ganesh, for having me.
Yeah. For the audience, if you can give us a brief in terms of your journey and how did you end up being into fintech?
Okay, so my journey has been pretty exciting. I started with my grads. So fortunately, one day I saw there was a company coming in for PG guys. They just wanted to recruit or for having some fair or something.
Okay.
So I just banged into my director's cabin and I requested him if I can go and sit just to check if I am eligible and whether I can answer them and can I do what they want, right? Am I a market fit? So I just did that, and fortunately he said yes.
You were in the PG, postgraduate?
No, in graduation itself.
Graduation
and first semester itself, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So first semester, so the company selected me. They selected me along with 3 more grads, and I was made the lead of that campaign or fate stall.
Wow!
And within 5 hours, we gave them a revenue or sales of around 6,000, 11,000 or 12,000. Right?
Okay.
So they got pretty much impressed, and that they were into FMCG, predominantly skincare and all that. So the second assignment they gave me to go back to Delhi. They were doing pretty good in Goa and Maharashtra, but not that good in Delhi. So they asked me to do that product review, stock taking from the distributors, and give them the feedback. What are the reasons? And so my career journey started from there.
But you're still being graduation.
Yeah, it's my first semester.
Wow, very interesting.
Yeah, that's why I said it's very interesting, right? So, January 2000, I believe. Yeah. So I was doing this in Delhi.
Okay.
My father was there, so my parents were there. So I spent around 20-25 days meeting all distributors, their customers, individually writing what exactly is needed, where the lapses, pluses and minuses, and did stock taking.
Okay.
So your hard work is never gone, right? What you do is always reflect.
Okay.
They liked it. They asked me to join them full time. But due to my graduation and parental pressure, I said, no, I cannot. But on and off, I joined them in daily such kind of fates where I was knowing more about the product and the sales as a role, marketing as a role, and knowing the market better. And then I worked for 2-3 companies during my graduation, and I was paid say 500 rupees, 2,000 for a day, and I enjoyed that, right? And of course partied for that expenses. So there was a journey, and that helped me. Where it helped me was when in my PG or MBA, a COLA major or COLA leader came to our campus for trainee interviews. I was the one who got selected in the college.
Okay.
Because
you've seen that background.
Yes, I explained them what I did when I was there in the graduation.
Okay.
And they sent me, and for next 3 months, I was aligned to them, and they gave me a PPO.
Wow.
But I did not take that. I instead, fate had something else destined for me, and the winter was with the tire major of India. So I did, and that also went pretty well. And then my first placement was with a bank, right? Now, of course, that's also a leader in India. And there, what I observed was banking has already been in the process of getting automated. So I was asking myself, what will be my role, say 5 years or 7 years or 10 years down the line?
And what role you joined in over there?
MT, management training. So management training has to learn, operations, your relationship management, mutual funds. So I started doing certifications.
Okay.
And to be honest, since my 2000, I wanted to do CFA, that too US one. But the center was not in India.
Yes,
the nearest center was either Kathmandu or Colombo. So that was actually making it down. Who will travel to that,
Right.
So that was actually, and when I was in this role, so I did certifications, right, and CFM certifications. That helped me getting securing a position in HCL, my first company.
Okay.
Right. I started my journey with this IT, where they.
So from banking you moved to IT.
Correct.
So you do not have an IT background.
No, I'm not. So I introduced myself as a non-technical survivor in IT from last 20 years.
Wow, interesting. Right. So what happened in HCL?
Yeah, so it was good. I think I was the one who was sent to onshore within 6 months, which normally they don't do. But I remember I did some good projects out there in that. Handled 3-4 projects and went onshore, UK. So from there, I learned the way delivery has to be. What is the role of business analysis per se in an IT industry? What a domain knowledge requires in the IT industry.
Okay.
How the business flows, data flows, how the screen flows, what is a happy path scenario, what is an alternate path scenario. And there my journey of IT began. After doing delivery for a couple of years, I came to pre-sales, and from there on, I was handling all large deals, 100 CR plus, if you're talking millions, 10 million plus, across geo, US, UK. And my schedule was, because reaching 6-7 a.m. in the morning to office and leaving post midnight. Because when you are not from that background, you have to learn, you have to at least come at par what your peers are. Right. And when you have been projected and so many people have already faith on you, then you have to prove them that you are right.
Correct.
Yeah. So I spent a couple of years in Chennai. It was
in the same company.
Yeah, in the same company. So I spent around 7 years in my second company. It was fantastic. The greatest of learning, I would say, has been given by my first IT company. It was really good. They taught me how exactly. So if you are a learner, what I would like to convey through you is, if you are a learner, you need to have a positive attitude. You have to be flexible. If you have done mistakes in your life, you don't know what you were doing, what you should have been doing, then at least somewhere you have to take corrective actions.
Right.
Do that. Be a learner. Be positive. Be flexible. And I think जैसा बचपन में कहते थे ना, किसी ने मारा तो बड़ों ने मारा तो बुरा नहीं मारना. So if your boss is beating you, it's okay. Take it with a pinch of salt. He wants to succeed, because he himself wants to succeed and hence want you to succeed.
Okay.
Correct. So go walk up to him, say what else I can do, what else I can learn, and trust me, I had a fantastic bosses who were FRM at that point in time, right? So I wanted to do FRM say at that point in time, but the time was a constraint. So I
Right.
started learning. So I did domain certifications, as I said, from BFSI standpoint. I started reading technical perspective as well, and there was a point when I could beat my solutions architect on logic, right?
Okay.
And
Okay.
hence I was, perceived that he can handle large deals.
Okay. From the non-technical side to the
So
technical
technical
side.
side, right? So at least technique, it's not about you are doing a coding every time, but can you understand the algorithms? Can you understand the logic? What exactly the client wants? So normally what we say is whether you understand the client hot buttons.
Okay.
What are the pain points of the?
Yes.
So any story that you begin, it begins with problem identification, problem definition. That's a question, right? And your solution has to be that answer. And if you have to go prior to that identification, what are the business drivers?
Right.
Right? So the story is your business drivers, your identification, definition, solution aligned to it, and then what are the industry trends? Any PPT, any document response will have these four components. If you know these four components, you will never go wrong.
Very interesting.
Right?
Interesting. Yeah. So after HCL, where did you move?
So it's a great. So I will not take all the names probably, but yeah. So from being so, what HCL gave me, what I have learned from my second company, it was I went to a global MNC, from a Indian MNC to a global MNC, where I was handling a European market, right? Where I launched, and it was ABM, service line marketing, and I learned so much of value prop, how to craft. But what I observed, people still were deficit there in terms of the content that HCL gave, or my second company gave me.
Okay.
Right? They were still thinking, oh, so I still remember there was a concept called SMAC.
Okay.
At that time, social media was exploding. So you should say social, mobile, analytics, and cloud. That was SMAC. So our leaders used to include or involve us in the business planning sessions, and then the sessions that we have had with the various industry analysts like Gartners, Forresters, and IDCs of the world.
Okay.
Right. So we came to know, this is what the trend is all about. So our solutions, our point of solutions are aligned to these drivers or not.
Okay.
If you're not aligned, you'll be out. So it's not only what you have, but are you keeping up the pace of the industry?
So you understood the pain points of the industry broadly.
Correct. One is of course the pain points and how those new trends are aligning to those pain points.
Okay.
Because eventually, what you want, if you see from your level, how would I reduce the cost of my household? And same concept goes with the corporate.
Right.
And when you're a $1 billion or more than $1 billion, $10 billion organization, your main, so IT was seen as a cost at one point in time. Then there was a concept of business aligned IT, that how IT can help business, right, to grow in terms of revenue and blah blah blah.
Right.
Then it is helping in terms of revenue, but whether we can reduce the cost, then the profitability will increase.
Perfect.
Right? So eventually everything drills down to your dollar or INR, your currency, right?
So from the core technical side, you started changing companies to different technical roles, and then you moved to fintech.
Correct. So see, when we talk about fintech as a definition, yeah, where we have various, but I personally feel or believe, right, financial companies always have at the deep pockets, and their captive units were always, kind of seen as profitability centers or cost centers, right? And Indian companies have always make money out of them, right? The way the technology that they brought in, the trend they brought in, and the way Indian IT companies have cope up in serving them was fantastic and phenomenal.
So now, when you work for a fintech company at a AVP role, what is your main responsibility looks like?
I am predominantly taking care of partnership alliances, and before coming on what exactly I am looking at this point in time, you do whatever areas in any business or especially IT I would take, whether you're doing pre-sales or bid management or partnership alliances or sales or marketing, you have to have proper partners to support you and alliances, right? Whether it's internal stakeholders or external stakeholders. One man army cannot serve and do everything.
That's correct.
So you, depending on, as I said, your business drivers and solutions. If you don't have it, partner with the person who has it, and then go do the joint GTM and go along with him and crack the market. Now, when you want a revenue expansion, it can be done in the two way, of course. Either you expand their products or you expand market, go beyond a region, right?
New markets, basically.
New markets, basically, right? So you decide in which market you want to go and partner. If you want to decide from the product standpoint, then also you partner. Then you have the right connect, you have the right relationship, you have the right funds, and you can crack.
Perfect. Now, coming to your experience of global sales and client servicing that you had, okay, what is your view that how market looks at fintech or how banks look at fintech?
See, it's, as I said, it's a 10 years around what fintech has, you're seeing the captive units, the way they are supporting. It is going to get involved because fintech is not from the perspective of the companies, it's predominantly facilitating the consumer of the customer.
That's correct. Banks.
Customer is the bank user. Yeah. What you can do is, if you want to take a home loan, you can do it at the fingertip of mobile.
Yes.
You see a pop-up, you saying you want a loan. Yes, I want a loan. You fill up your, do that.
Right.
You want to make a IFD, higher rate of interest. You say, any pop-up coming, you want to invest, you can do that.
Right.
Yeah. You have so many algo trading platforms. You want to, earlier, if you want to open a demat account, it used to take time. Now you can take it. So everything is fintech. Now the problem is, to what extent the technology is taking over, and AI ML coming into the play, you actually don't have boundaries, right? It's actually the domain. What they lack is the domain. What my feeling is, even if the companies are doing fintech, and there are fintech companies, they do not have a proper domain knowledge. So if the domain is properly aligned to fintech, so algo trading, to give an example, if somebody say buy and take a long position, and we stopped, or he just misses doing a push button of saying stop, the system will continue to buy till he pushes the button. And if he goes on a leave, what will happen?
Okay.
Company will go at a loss.
Right.
That's a simple example of fintech.
Okay.
Whether you want a domain guy or a techie guy, right?
Also, right. So basically, try to understand what is happening.
So the technology is supporting to an extent, but you have to have the proper domain guys to guide you, and you have to have proper controls from the domain. So what I'm seeing, observing is, people do not have that kind of a domain expertise, and risk is one of the areas.
Okay. Because, so what I understood is that technology can become an enabler. It cannot be the main thing.
Absolutely. It has to be an enabler. See, it cannot overpower a human brain, and should not. Then it hampers you, right?
Similarly, so domain knowledge has to be the core.
Domain knowledge has to be a core.
Okay. Now, you talked about risk, Palapart. So I'll come back to that. But I have also, when I was reading, so I read about banking as a service. So for the audience, if you can tell what exactly does that mean?
Okay.
And
so
what is the scope?
Okay. So banking as a service, as we have already, so you are going through your mobile, YouTube, or any site that you have visited. Suddenly you want a loan, invest. So that is one form of banking as a service. What bank offers, you can do it at a fingertip in just 3-click or 4-click, whatever.
Right.
So bank needs a license to do that. So these companies do not, they do it via banks or via some other medium, right? Normally through a banking channel only, right?
Okay.
But it will explode.
Right? So this is not something which is happening on an HDFC Bank's platform. That means their app. It is something outside. Am I correct?
Correct. So KYC online that you are doing it, it's also a form of banking as a service.
Okay.
So you're doing a credit card, it's also your internet banking as a service. But due to this spam thing, so many frauds happening, you have to be careful about what you should and what you should not do. So your bank should make you aware what is an authenticated pieces or channels that you should do banking with. And it's going to explode not with the banking perspective, it will go explode in the insurance. Like I was giving an example. 10 years back when I was doing, then when we were launching these reports, somebody was thinking that if I'm going to Switzerland and in Alps and doing that skiing, right, and he's unable to take that insurance, he should be able to take that insurance on the fly. If he met with an accident, he should be able to admit it to a hospital, cashless, and on the button of it, right? So this is like seamless transaction for the customer. Who is a customer and consumer? One who buys it.
So this is happening in developed markets like US market easily as compared to Indian markets.
See, developed market is always easy because they don't think that much about frauds, or people are not caring and thinking about alternative things, how I can mint money, because population is so less. Right? In our scenario, I think there's a surveyor who is coming. There's a long process, so it's still a challenge, So I think to attach to banking as a service, financial services as a service, it has to be more with the value-based system. If our value system is pretty strong and we are ethical,
Right.
it's very seamless and anybody can do that. If the value system is not that proper, then company has to do.
But how does this field of fintech that you see in the next 5 to 10 years in India, what is the growth?
It's going to get exploded, as I said, right? It's going to enter into insurance. It has already exploded, but the integration between various financial services, right? So it has already integrated, but to a great extent, when the seamless transaction starts happening, your volume will increase, your time will decrease, and transaction cost will increase.
So the way we move to a single KYC platform for all the mutual funds. Similarly, you might see that I've got a bank account and suddenly insurance is also available.
Correct.
This is also available.
Correct.
Or you have pre-approved things.
Correct.
Cross board.
So just to tell you that, like what your UPI of the world is doing, it's the best example of you can do everything on your GPS of the world, right? I don't want to name it, but any UPI platform that you want to do, you have a hell lot of things available. That's the best example. So if you say you want to, where do you see it's going to get explode? But as the technology, because every day the new technology and innovations are happening, so technical guys has to keep the pace with the new technologies.
Okay.
They have to do certificate. They keep learning. So I still learn, right? I still learn. I still read a lot. So I just through you, I would like to give one lesson to all the people. You, whatsoever the kind of personality you may have. So I was perceived as whether he's studying or not studying, but when the marks come, it was okay, right? Okay, as in 70-80%. As long as you are getting that, it's okay. But are you doing that additional reading that nobody knows, and that should not be known unless so that makes you content rich. You should be strong in your content. Nobody can challenge. And irrespective of the time, the place, you should be just reading, and reading.
Wonderful. This is a very good tip for the audience.
Absolutely. You should be reading and keep yourself updated. So I keep telling my younger one, that you should, instead of having mobile in your hand, you should have a book in your hand. That will, and trust me, it will always help. So when I remember in my PG or grad days, nobody could challenge me in the GD. And you should know what role you have to. It's 100% correct that you will not know all the every topic under the sun. That's for sure. You will not know, right? But you should know when to enter the GD, when to pause, and when to exit. With that kind of content.
Now, coming back to the fintech area, so what are the biggest challenges that you see that the industry is facing? One or two challenges, if you can talk.
Domain, as I said, right? Domain is
people do not have domain knowledge.
Yeah, people do not have that kind of a domain knowledge. Another is those kind of technical capabilities are also missing.
Okay.
Right. So there's both. So you want to create a fintech company, but there are very few. I don't want to name them.
So just a connecting question. So you said domain knowledge is very less. So somebody who has done say CFA or FRM, okay, has some decent understanding of what is happening.
CFA guy will take care of say algo trading. He will be very complimentary to algo trading.
So he'll have to do something with that, not only just CFA, right? So any specific
So
technical
yeah,
side.
domain has to align with technical
What
knowledge.
about that? Which
Yeah.
technical skills get?
So basic thing that you should do is you should, pretty good with the MS Office.
Okay.
MS Office, it's very basic. People now can
Use it every
self-start
day, yes.
every day, but you have to go little more beyond that, right? So
Power
RESTful,
user basically.
Power user, Power BI a bit, Tableau a bit, then your Excel, your SQL queries, right? Some kind of a bit of coding. At least you should be able to understand.
So that
If
is what
you,
they can do to enter into the fintech space.
Fintech, yeah. See, it's not only with respect to fintech, but even in the investment bank. So I was talking to my colleagues in Singapore, my friends in Singapore. Trust me, the knowledge that these guys are giving to their younger ones or kids, phenomenal.
Okay.
So if our guys, investment bankers or people who are working in the risk areas or investment banking areas, their counterparts in Singapore have at least technical knowledge to an extent. Our guys don't have knowledge. They only do VLOOKUP or HLOOKUP to an extent. That is it.
Okay.
Right? So have some kind of a flavor. If you have not done it in engineering, then do it now. It is good for you to do it.
Now, just a follow-up question on that. If you want to succeed in the fintech space, what you should have, apart from the domain knowledge?
Fintech, see, there is no right answer to it. You have to just
As per your understanding.
upgrade and update. Right? What is the new? Because see, nobody thought that I can get a home loan over my fingertip. No, so many people do not even know whether the invoice discounting happens or not.
Right.
How many platforms are doing invoice discounting?
Yes.
I am rather consulting free of cost to a couple of companies that you should go for invoice discounting. Right? So forget about. So these are technical leaders. They do not know basic finance concepts.
Okay.
So it's it's both ways.
So you have to keep on learning in this
Learning.
space.
So if you are a finance guy, learn technicalities. If you're a technical guy, learn some finance. Because I just give you an example. So there are agencies who give you like your how to say, your branding agencies of the world, right? They only know the channels of marketing, the way you should project your perception, your goodwill, and all blah blah blah, your image building. Then you have marketing technology, marketing companies like Indian provide CRM, provide technicalities, social media, and all that, right? But nobody, there are very few companies who have brought two of them together and made a marketing technology company. Those who have done that have really succeeded well.
Okay.
Because these guys didn't know this, these guys didn't know this. When you married both of them together, they are making a fantastic, because that's what the companies who want to market their products wanted. That there's a blue space. They don't have a database. Now the database is aligned with the positioning and the marketing and the message. The message that you're giving to the end consumer should be aligned irrespective of the channels you are browsing through. And that's what the concept called as omnichannel.
Yeah, that is very popular, yes.
Omnichannel
marketing.
Omnichannel marketing.
So anywhere he reaches, website, web chat, anywhere you are able to connect
Absolutely.
with him.
And whether, see, there was a concept, I joined one startup as well. So every journey has given me something. I've learned something. So there was a concept when I was speaking to an analyst, at that point in time, so 10, 11 years back, whether brick or mortar is needed or not.
Okay.
They have gone to that extent. And trust me, what I'm seeing
for
today,
a bank?
No, for anybody. And retailers, of course. Why do you want to pay, rent for this huge?
And now we have dark stores.
You have
dark stores available, okay.
Yeah.
So basically things are evolving. And
yes, it will evolve. But again, if you have the knowledge to integrate, you will become the leader. If you have only one side of knowledge and try to encapsulate the other, you can succeed with your learning, with your updates, with upgrades.
Okay. Now, the next question is from the perspective of a participant or a candidate. Now, what certification he can do to enter into the fintech area, or can they do internships? Is there an opportunity for that?
Yeah. See, fintech, you can start anywhere, but to start with is, of course, if you're an engineer, get domain knowledge. But are you an employable engineer? That's what the question is.
Okay.
Right? So get those technical. So be serious for a career first, and try to align with couple of technologies what you want to do and where you see the scope. So that, as I said earlier, read and read. That will give you a perspective of where the potential is. Technically align yourself, and technically and domain wise, take one certification, two certifications, right? That will help you either investment bank or fintech. They both are going to merge in some way or the other the days to come, because eventually technology will help banks to streamline their processes, automate them, right? To increase the efficiency and reduce the cost.
Now, somebody who wants to make a career into this, okay, especially say a non-tech guy wants to enter into fintech. One advice that you want to give it to him, apart from that reading wala part.
Without reading, nothing will happen. How will it clear?
But anything else, any advice?
There are both things involved while you want to achieve something or enter somewhere. It's be with soft skills and technical skills, hard skills, right? So soft skills, you should be a positive attitude, flexible, learning, and take up the right certificate. Fintech, you can take. I don't think any certifications related to payments area, but you can, you can join one of those companies. So if you want to enter that, you have to understand the technicalities of it, right? Unless you're an engineer, you don't have the product knowledge, because products are aligned to companies. And so the starting point is have basics or pretty good in C++, the basics, Python, right? SQL, the databases. Try to become the full stack developer. So if you observe, our elite engineering institutes, mostly people coming out, their alumni are full stack engineers.
Okay. What is the one valuable lesson that you received in your career which helped you?
Positive attitude. My father told me there is no shortcut to hard work.
Wow.
And there is a saying that, and you always used to say, "Kabir daji doa, karat karat abhyas ke jad mat ho sujan, rasri aawaz jaate silver par."
You'll have to be slow. I think some people would not understand.
Yeah. So it's a dua which my father used to recite over and again. He used to tell me, "Karat karat abhyas ke jad mat ho sujan, rasri aawaz jaate silver par nisan." So karat, keep on practicing, even if you don't know. So that I just applied it in my IT career, right? Wow. Keep on hearing, and finally, I could elaborate on things that which are at par with the others, right? Okay. So karat अभ्यास के जड़मत हो सुजान, जो कालिदास जी थे, right? वो जड़मत ही थे ना, वो उनको तो बेवकूफ कहा था, जिस पेड़ पे चढ़े थे उसी को काट रहे थे। तो जड़मती हो सुजान मतलब बुद्धिमान। रसरी आवाज जाते, जैसे आप कुएं से पानी निकालते हो, तो जो रस्सी कुएं से पानी निकालती है उसका भी निशान उस पत्थर पे पड़ जाता है। तो जब आप प्रैक्टिस करते रहते हो तो उस पे निशान कर सकते हो।
Wonderful. This last part also is going to be very interesting for the audience, and the overall conversation of your journey into the fintech space will motivate a lot of people, especially you being from a non-technical background, because the first thing that comes to my mind is I need to have a very strong technical side. You can start the journey, but you have to keep on learning.
Correct.
And make yourself good up to that level.
Correct.
That you are able to add value to the organization. So thank you, Avinash, for taking her time and talking to us.
Thank you.